Hey gang, well, I start off today's session with a little bit of interesting news, kind of a little fun stuff that came out of China. Turns out a group of 300 bicyclists set out on a 1,000-mile ride across China, climbing and crossing 12 mountains, and over a course of 20 days, averaging 37 miles a day. Though it's cool, there's not a big cute thing or news thing to that, except that as they got started out, they were joined by a stray dog, just happened to start running alongside them and stuck with them for the entire trip. Now, 1,000 miles, averaging 37 miles a day for 20 days. It's this little raggedy stray dog stuck with them the entire time. Apparently, never fell behind, never got lost or ran off. Did the entire 1,000 miles with them. At the end, there were 3 bikers left. 3 bicyclists left at the end, and the stray dog. Everybody else out of the 300 had fallen out, had mechanical difficulties, fallen back, whatever. So at the end of this 1,000 miles, there's 3 bicyclists and a stray dog. Fortunately, of course, as you figure what happened with a little human interest piece like this, or canine interest, depending on how you want to look at it, one of the bicyclists is adopting the dog and bringing him back to the United States. It's kind of cool. Not sure why they were so amazed, though, that the dog was in such good shape. It's a stray dog in China. He's got to be in good shape to stay away from all the, restaurant cooks. Ooh, that was bad, huh? I made an ethnic joke. Now, why would I do that? I clearly knew better. Why? So I want to get into my main subject for today. In today's world with how everything is, open doors for everybody and anything who can do whatever you want to do, where do we get so much racism? Now you've got your standard, your standard causes, roots behind it. Somebody grows up in the ghetto and white boys better not come down to our neighborhood, or you've got your backwoods. That's how his daddy was, his granddaddy, going back to whenever. That's just how they were taught. We've got your kids who never really fit in society and get picked up by a hate group, skinheads, KKK, whoever, and they feel accepted, and so pick up the doctrine. We've got the flip side of that, black kids who feel unempowered, whatever, and get picked up by the Black Panther and other movements. We've got the gangs. We've got so many different causes that you hear about in the news and being preached about all the time. But let's look at a side cause, if you will. Something I've noticed over the years that doesn't get talked about much, and a lot of people I don't think even think about. And that's just the PC nature of things itself. I'll give you an example, which actually happened to me today. Was the Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and I went to a luncheon to celebrate it, hear a guest speaker, watch some Hawaiian hula dancers. Very cool. The guest speaker got up though, and he starts talking and giving a speech. I didn't think anything of it initially, but as he's going through, he mentions that the world is made up of 7 continents: North America, South America, Antarctica, Australia, Africa, the biggest of all, Asian, and that's why there's so many of us. And he went into a joke. I didn't think anything of it until I heard, a few feet away because it was a packed event, at another table, somebody made the comment at their table, you notice he left out Whitey's Europe. Somebody's going to take that personally and get pissed. And he did. He left out Europe. Okay, no biggie. He was more focused on getting into the joke. But somebody noticed, and the way they phrased it He left out Whitey's Europe. Not so much him leaving out Europe, but somebody hearing that comment, maybe dealing with perceived or unperceived biases, just got offended. Like my little joke. It was a joke. It was a silly joke. But oh my God, somebody out there hearing that would be offended and all up in arms. Oh my God. I think that's part of the problem. We've tried to be so politically correct in everything we do that we've gotten to the point of having thin skins. So thin that there are words some people can say and others can't. That there are phrases and jokes that are only okay in certain surroundings. I'll give you an instance and a reference to my background. My background was a stupid kid, a stupid private. One of my best buddies was Martin White, and he was as black as they come. And, okay, we're both Army infantrymen, and we've been in situations to cover each other's butts, and, if we didn't, we were dead. We were buddies. We trusted each other with, with our girls, our wallets, our lives. We served together. And that's how it went. So we joke and call each other names and things back and forth. And we'd be down working on the Bradleys. It's an armored fighting vehicle used by the infantry and a lot of others in different configurations with different equipment on it. We're down working on the Bradleys, and it wouldn't be anything for the two of us to be, he'd be up top working on something, I'd be working on the tracks or in the engine or vice versa, back and forth. Actually, usually I was working on the weapon systems or the tracks, he'd work on the engine. It's just how things were. And it'd be nothing for him to, poke his head out. Hey, Crapper, give me a 5/8. Meaning a wrench. And just nothing. Uncle Bunny, get up and get it yourself. Oh my God, I look back now, and okay, that was almost 20 years ago. The Army's changed, the attitude, the mentalities, the vocal speech patterns. What I didn't think of anything between two friends who entrust each other with their lives. I was too young, didn't think about others might get offended. Sure enough, a black NCO walking through one day heard our speech, heard our banter, got offended, and went to file an EO, equal opportunity complaint against me. Thing of it is, I got called into the Battalion Command Sergeant Major's office, who was black, asked about it, I explained it. He called him in, and he had one critical question. Once again, a lot of people might be hurt by this person. They couldn't care. I was confused. I was a private. I didn't understand what the problem was. My buddy were just, ragging on each other. We were poking at each other. It's how we lived our lives. And we were in the barracks, in rooms next to each other. We lived our lives together in those surroundings, in that atmosphere. What the Sergeant Major really had a problem was, and he knew me. And at the time, actually, I had a black girlfriend who was a carpenter's dream. I'll let you figure out what that means. Was that the NCO had put in paperwork to file charges against me. Having heard both sides of the conversation, having heard the way we bantered back and forth, he wanted to put in paperwork against me, not my friend, not the brother. Just me. Sergeant Major told me to get out and ripped him up one side down the other because Martin and I were friends. That's how we bantered back and forth. And it was wrong. And I grew and evolved as the Army did too, and got to know that. But the NCO only went after one. He didn't treat both sides equally. A lot of people would get pissed off and be biased about that, but Martin and I and several of the other guys had beers and joked about it that night. But how many times, it gives me the thoughts, how many times in our society today do you get out and you hear somebody say something that maybe in your group is nothing? Or you hear another group together joking and making names back and forth. It's them. They're being them together as them. And you don't think about it past that. That's what I want you to think about. How many times do you hear things like that? How many times do things go on like that maybe just glance off you, but somebody else who's been hurt or caught up in a situation or just had a thin skin is going to get offended by that. Personally, I think you need to get a thicker skin. Their words. And they're not direct, especially if they're not directed at you or in any kind of threatening manner. But I think we've gotten to a point where, in a lot of circumstances, you've got to be so careful with with what words come out of your mouth, with what you say. Just because so many people are so on edge. Why is it? So I want you to think about it. Why is it we've gotten so bad, so thin-skinned, that by saying some minor thing between friends, you can offend somebody else, cause them to get so mad that we wind up with another racist, another bigot? Give me your thoughts and comments on it. Hit the like or dislike down below. Subscribe if you want. And I'll catch you later with some more random thoughts and direct comments.